where we don't help people. If we want to have compassion, it is to allow them to experience their season of sorrow, their season of loss, their season of whatever it is, in the way that's unique to them. Because we never can walk a mile in another person's shoes. It's not possible. We say that, but it's not possible. What is possible is to have empathy, compassion, to be a listener if the person wants to talk about the situation or the events. If they ask for help, they want advice, even if they don't take the advice, if they want advice, it's great to offer them whatever advice you might have, but don't expect them to take it, because sometimes the asking for advice is just a feedback. Sometimes it's just a way of reaching out. It's just a connection. And if you are wanting a relationship and you've been grieving the sense of, I don't know, I can't seem to meet anyone, I can't seem to connect, part of the problem with social media is that as humans, we connect by all of our senses. When we meet people, it's their scent, it's their or their odor that can be an attraction or a turnoff. So if you're going out and you wanting to meet people, you want to connect, you want to have a relationship, even though you've had a loss, and you want to connect with people on a new level, you want to meet new people, you've got to put the effort in. You've got to take a shower and get dressed up, and you don't have to buy new and fancy clothes. You could probably have something that's clean and you can feel good in. Feel good about yourself first. That's the one thing that I've always disagreed with, was the idea of people saying this person completes me. We each need to be complete and whole ourselves before we can have a complete and whole relationship with someone else. As someone once said to me, a relationship is its own persona. There's you, there's me, and then there's the relationship. So we have to, if we want those things, we have to look at ourselves, do our own healing work, look at ourselves, and not make the world to blame for our anger, sorrow, and grief and or joy. Don't give other people the power to make us feel anything. We have control over our emotions. We have control over our anger, over how we express it, how we express our joy, how we interact with people. Get to know people in an actual authentic way by being authentic yourself first. That's really critical. And helps to heal and helps to engage. We need the human connection. We need it, but we can't force it. We'll never have relationships with people if we expect them to act a certain way towards us. That is, we can't expect or control how other people see us. All we can do is be true to ourselves, and when we do that, there's a sense of wholeness can come over us, and so that we're okay whether we're with people or we're not. We can be okay being alone, and we can be okay in environments, even no matter what we're feeling. We can be going through our grief and still engage in the world. We can do that. It takes effort, and part of it is preparation as well, knowing that not everybody's going to like us, regardless of social media. Not everyone's going to like us. Not everyone's going to be our cup of tea. That's why there's billions of us here to interact with. Not everyone's meant to be on our path with us. Regardless of how much we might be attracted to someone, that isn't about them. It's about us. It's about us knowing that we're okay as who we are. Our self-confidence, self-esteem comes from our accomplishments. What did we do? How do we help other people? How do we engage in the world? Sitting at home behind your computer is not going to give you that. You have to be in the world. and not of it. You have to be able to see other people without a lot of judgment and expect the best from them, but also know that, like I said before, people are capable of good and evil. And it's our inner guidance that tells us that, if we listen to it, and not external voices, not cults, not propaganda machines, not, marketing that says if you wear this or that, you are going to be attractive. So the big things are, if you want to attend an event, do so. And if you don't do it. We have to take the obligation out of the holidays, because what's festive about that if it's done under duress? Not everyone experiences grief and loss in the same ways, and we all have moments of loss. And it's the fact that as a society we don't actually prepare ourselves for that, as not to dread, things are going to go negatively, or I'm going to, no point in getting involved in a relationship, the person's probably going to die. Well, that's not being prepared. That is just being negative. Because, the song, The Dance by Garth Brooks, that's really what it's about, is to love and to experience relationship with people is to have those moments. That's all we ever have, is the moment in time, right? That's what's important. And to have an awareness that it's precious and that you won't always have it, that there's no guarantee. That's being prepared. Even though when something happens that you weren't, we say we weren't expecting, but we're not expecting it in a lot of ways because we don't want to. We don't want to accept the fact that life is not permanent and that our success is not always permanent. You can have the best job in the world, the best house and car and relationships and health, and everything is just tip top. And then one of those things somehow changes. And everything else also, there's ripples. And that can happen to anyone at any time. And it can also happen the other way. You can be destitute, in poverty, had a run of bad luck, as they say, and then things change. You meet the right person, somebody offers you a piece of advice perhaps, and everything changes. And a lot of that comes from our point of view. You can stay in your sorrow and wallow for a long time. And a lot of the reason for what I've seen of wallowing with it's not a negative thing. It's just a feeling, you just can't get out of that place. And a lot of that comes from ruminating and regretting and saying, this shouldn't have happened to me. I shouldn't have lost my job. I did everything right and I still lost my job. Or I, shouldn't have lost that relationship. That shouldn't have happened to me. Everything was perfect. I knew it was going to last forever. It was supposed to last forever and it didn't. Or a child shouldn't die. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't have happened to me. So some of that is denial of what is reality of life, because there's nothing permanent in life. And that's where I say it's the preparation and the discussion around it that will help us to navigate, because there are times in life that it's hard, really hard. We, instead of, as a society, instead of talking about it, preparing people for these seasons in our lives, we end up medicating. We end up going to addictions like social media, which is avoiding, our real life situations, relationships sometimes, in favor of something that's an illusion, to numb. And I mean, that's what Dr. Gabor Mate talks about all the time. It's not why the addiction, it's why the pain. Because there's a reason for addictions. We're trying to numb something that hurts so much that we can't understand. And that is often the biggest part of it, is we don't know why, and we want to know why. And sometimes there is no common sense or logical or, reason why something happened. Why did something happen to this person and not to me? Or, that's where all that sense of jealousy comes from. That we're looking at social media, we're seeing other people's, as they say, highlight reel, not their real life, but the highlight reel. And we're judging ourselves against that, competing against people who, in many cases, we've never met. And so I think that it's really important to recognize that grief is a season. Events in life, we can weigh them as if loss is a negative, but in reality, it is just a part of life. It is an event. An event happens. Having a loss doesn't make a person a loser. Having a win doesn't make a person a winner. It doesn't change your value, your worth, because an event happened. Something happened in your life. That's what it is. It's an event. It's not a reflection of your worth. There's so many factors involved in whether a person has, gets that job and another person doesn't. Person meets that person and another person doesn't. You think, well, how did they end up married to this great person and their relationship so great? And often it is a matter of they worked at it. They both wanted it. And then you have another couple and it's like, it was hell on earth. And maybe there's another reason for that. Maybe there were certain things they were learning from those relationships. Maybe there was things they were healing from previous relationships. Life is messy and it's complicated and it's juicy and it's fun and it's sad. It's all of those things. It's a buffet. It's not just one or another. And it's a matter of preparing ourselves for all of it, and for the unexpected, for being okay with things not always working out the way we plan. There is a kind of a joke about we make plans and God laughs. And I know it's, because there's a bigger plan, depending on what your belief system is. But for me, there is a bigger plan, and one that I'm maybe not privy to all the ins and outs of. And I think that the more we can accept that life is about ups and downs and seasons, and that we're not all going through the same seasons at the same time, and respect each other and respect the choices. If someone in your life is going through something and they say, you know what, I don't want to attend the holiday event this year. I don't want to host it. I don't want to be part of it. I just prefer to stay by myself. Check in and ensure that they're really making that choice. And it isn't a place of absolute desperation that they are needing actual help in another way from a medical practitioner or a counselor or something like that. But the people in your life, and what are they needing? Ask them, talk to them, make sure that there's a dialogue and not just I don't feel like going and I'm not coming. And, if you haven't actually been talking to them and you don't really know where they're at with life, then it's really hard to know whether they're actually choosing to not participate or whether they really are in a depressed state that they need some outside help. But you can't know that if you don't talk to them, if you don't talk about the grief, if you try to pretend it didn't happen, whatever their loss was. They lost their job. Don't talk about it. Well, ask them, do you want to talk about that? Ask them if they want to talk about their loved one. Don't be afraid to have those hard conversations, because sometimes they are hard. And too often people won't even mention the name of the person who died, or, if there's a divorce, don't mention that other person's name. Well, these are games we play with each other. If that person was in your life for a period of time and you were, having a love affair, or they were your child or your parent or, your pet even, why wouldn't you be able to say their name without it causing a lot of turmoil, drama? They were part of your life. So we don't prepare for these things, and the more prepared we are and the more accepting we are of different people's grieving